Okay, so the goal of this is to just talk a little bit about headings and the table of contents and figure captions and things like that. So I just want you to kind of picture that you're in my office and I'm just kind of running through this because that's kind of the way I'm going to treat it. So let's take a look at this document that I already have. And if you click on the various pieces, you can actually see what their headings are actually set as. So this is the title. You can see it up there. You can also see it over here. Here we have heading 1. And then we have heading 2, and I am left clicking on these, so just a basic click, and you can get an idea of what you're dealing with. And you might wonder where this extra box came from. Let's get rid of it so we can see where it came from. It's this little guy right here opening up another, and you'll see that that comes, and you can actually see it up here and up here. Now there's a couple more that are here as well, so that might be helpful too. So the other thing I want to talk about is, and now that we've talked about heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, and then the title, which are very helpful, and we're going to use those in our table of contents, I want to talk a little bit about what the text should look like. So you'll notice that this text is actually set as body text. And the reason why, let me open it up so we can look at what goes into it. So this is the style, it's called body text, and it's based on normal. Now, when you start typing a document in Word, Word wants you to go ahead and have like the bulk of your text set as normal, which, okay, I understand, but the problem is since everything else is based on normal, because all of these headings up here are as well, if you change something about normal, you're actually changing everything about everything else as well. So my advice is to go ahead and set the text as something else, so that if you want to double space it, you can just click that button, but it doesn't change the double spacing on your other headings, okay? You want to center it, but it doesn't change whether these are centered, you know. You want to justify it or do anything like that, and it just changes that body text. Okay, we can add spaces in between the paragraphs, we can indent things, but you'll notice nothing else is indented. See, now if I did that to normal, everything else would be indented as well. And we can do format down here, and there's some more down here that we're used to seeing. And again, this was all just left clicks, regular clicks. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cancel it so it looks normal. Now, why don't we go ahead and insert a table? Now, here's another place where I think Word is sort of counterintuitive. We are not going to insert a table using the Insert tab. We have to go to the Reference tab and then click on Table of Contents. And we can pick one that we like, or we can pick something else. And it goes through and it sets all of our values. This is our heading 1, our heading 2, our heading 3s, and then if you right click on it, you can edit things, you can use various techniques to fix it, change the fonts and stuff like that, but I don't know if you have to go that far. That's it. That's all you do to get a table of contents in there. It's pretty nice. Now, one thing I want to point out, let's say that we type a bunch of stuff down here, okay? And right now the background is actually on the second page. And if we go up to our table of contents, it says our background is still on the first page. And that's just the idea that the table of contents doesn't update every second you push enter. So you have to actually go in and say, and this is a right click, update field, and then update the entire table. And now our background is on page 2. Okay, so let me put that back. And sometimes you want to keep track of where your paragraphs are. You'll notice that this little dot right here means that this is actually set as one of the headings and it will go into the table of contents. So sometimes you want to make sure you don't see any of those. All right, let's talk about figures. Okay, so here's my figure down here, and I can tell that this is actually already labeled as an actual figure by Word because it's highlighted gray, and then this reference in the side of the text is highlighted gray too. So that means Word recognizes this as figure 1 and would put it in a list of figures if asked to do so. So let's go ahead and delete it so we can see how did we actually do that. So you can either type your caption first or after, but again, you go to References, Insert Caption. You can tell it whether you want to do an equation, a figure, or a table, and it will go ahead and give you the one, and we're done. Okay, so what if we want to put a reference in? So let's delete it first. This time it's called a cross-reference, okay? And it's going to pick that it's a figure. You can do cross-references for a bunch of other things, but it knows that it has figures. And another default is that it typically goes ahead and pops up with entire captions, so you have to be careful and move it to only label and number. And there you go. And now if we highlight it, we can see it's actually gray. Now the good news is, and watch how great this, so if something were to happen and I wanted to insert another caption, right here, it actually goes ahead and updates this to figure 2. So you don't have to worry about the numbers. You just put the captions in order and you get the right numbers coming out. And you'll notice that this one didn't change. Over time it would finally update, I believe, and if you find that they're not updating, you can just update field. Again, it's a right click, update field. All right, let's go ahead and get rid of this. See, and this time it didn't update either one of these, so let's go ahead and update those. Now we have a figure 1 and a figure 1. Now if we wanted to insert a list of figures, let's see. Sometimes it's helpful to remember that there's a button over here to clear the formatting, so that if you just want, or you could actually just punch in normal too. But what we're going to do here is insert a list of figures. Insert table of figures. Okay. And there you go. And then you can get in and change some of the formatting, and once you get used to that, there's other things you can do to make it look even more pretty. So hopefully that helped, and hopefully you can see the utility in this and how nice it is that you have all this ability now to change things and make things look how you want without having to do too much like reformatting of the entire document. And this is only a 3-page document, so that's not a big deal. But someday you might be working with a document that's 40, 50, or even 150 pages long, and being able to decide with a couple clicks of the button that everything is going to be double spaced is definitely something that's a very powerful tool. Thank you for listening. Take care.